It's it's early in the morning this morning, but I was thinking about something of how I try to describe things, and most people understand them, but my family pulls things out of context and tries to. Well, I mean my family, I mean my father and whoever's around him will pull things out of context and make up some crazy idea. Like, I walk everywhere, and I'm always throwing away bottles and throwing them away, throwing them away. I recycle just about everything I can if there's a trash can nearby, but I'm not sticking stuff in my pockets. But see, when I talk about how I might build a bird feeder out of a honey bottle, a stick, and a piece of string, or really it was headphones at the time, or I think it was some wire, but either way, just on the way. I walk on the way back, I remember what items are there and I put it together in my head. I'm very good at this on other things, more important things than trash on the ground. It just happens where I see items and my head is able to visualize it going together for many, many things in life. But explaining the thought I just had about how I was remembering me doing that, and then I was remember explaining it, and then I can just hear my father and the people around him going. So he picks up trash off the ground and sticks it in his pocket, brings it home, and puts it together. No, that's not what I said I do. So, waste your time picking up dirty trash that you could throw away that's just gonna fall on the ground again. You could have just thrown it away. No, no, I couldn't have. If I did that, then I'd have to carry dirty trash with me everywhere. I don't understand you, Zach. That's because you're not making any sense. I'm just walking down the street and I'm seeing stuff on the ground and making a note in my head. And then I decide maybe I can get a second use out of it. That's all. I don't take any special time out of my day. I see a stick, I pick it up. See the wire, pick it up. See the damn jar, pick it up, go to the tree, stick it in. That's it. The stick definitely would be right next to the bottle, anyways, because, you know, sticks are everywhere. And a broken pair of headphones, I'm not going to carry all the way home, but if I remember, oh, those three items, once when I see the headphones, I just got to hold those. And then I get to the stuff, throw it on a tree, and I'm done. Rub some salt through my hands, wash my hands when I get home, and I'm good. But, see, they can't picture the details of me doing a smart thing. They're always picturing me being dumb, dumb, let's stick this bottle of juice upside down in my pocket. Yeah, now my inside of my pockets are sticky. Yeah, my pockets are sticky. And I help the environment. Yeah. That's the person they think I am. They don't realize the my nervous system is fucked up and none of my nervous system keeps up with my thoughts. It is very hard. I have to go back if I go too slow with talking and try to pick up every word. It is not it is not fun. And that instantly hit me with a bag of rocks at age 7. it's very obvious when the feeling started, but what was the cause of it that night? I know my meds were just given to me, and I told the doctor that. But nobody's given me a straight answer. My mother's always stolen away the narrative, and then told the doctor there's no need to look into it. But that is my family's favorite thing. He can't drive. He's dumb. He's stupid. Oh, he can't read or write, and it took him forever to read and write as during childhood, and it seemed like he was 4 years behind everybody, and Seth was even all smarter than him. Well, he's just duh slow. Meanwhile, the facts show I was one of the top of my class of first grade. I had better words, better puzzles, fifth in spelling bee. I was first in swim class. Everything was above board. And in the orphanage, same thing. I got number one person there. I was helping other people. I was by far the well behaved. I was the kid that the priest wanted to speak to. I was probably, well, I actually had the award. They gave out awards for best behaved kid, and not many of them got them. Some of them didn't get them for a while, while other of us got them like once every 4 months or so. I got a total of, I think, two. I got to go and get $10 with some action figures, and then there was Legos. Some Legos, and there was one other item, I think, but I can't remember. Anyway, so they let you go out. I got a big bin of Legos and some action figures because I was the most best behaved kid. My grades were doing great. I had some of the best scores in class. The teacher wanted me to go to second grade. I graduated first grade. But at first grade, a bunch of fucking problems start really fucking up my development. First is an overdose, and then the teachers want me to go to speech therapy and physical therapy because of a sudden change in my body, my speech, my movements. And I'm talking about this overdose causing a sudden change in my movements at the doctor's. But I don't think my mother is connecting this with the other people. I don't think she's informing people with the truth and the proper information. Instead, she's lying to my father, the school who's trying to help, and my doctor who's now heard about this that's trying to help. So the doctor, my school, and my father, if they were just told what this means, then they could have helped me, which my mother very clearly knew what she did. So I was left to OD. So yeah, why did I have so much problem reading still today? Well, actually, I do much better reading. It's just when people take words out of context, like at the courts, some words they might use, like a bureau. They're talking about a bureau as an organization, but they might use it short. Instead of saying the Bureau of Investigation, blah, 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 they might just say, if the Bureau feels like, well, who's the Bureau? You got to know what the Bureau means. When people use, if the Bureau feels like you are under discrimination, they will give, if something like that says worded that way in a legal document that you are sent, you have to know what they mean by Bureau. They're not talking about, if the Bureau, oh, I have to go ask my bureau at home where my underwear is if I can. No, no. They're talking about the Bureau of Investigation or the Bureau, whatever's on the top of the paper. But see, if I didn't know that one, the Bureau is talking about whatever bureau is at the top of the paper, like the Bureau of Investigation or Justice or whatever. That's just one weird example. So that's where I struggle, is when fancy like war and peace books, or if you go to the courts, or if you're trying to fill out for last will and testimony, or a do not resuscitate order, or when somebody's trying to take advantage of you, or Facebook or one of these online people, not creditors, online social media sites uh, that you go on. They have privacy policies that very clearly say that they're out to take advantage of you. And I've had many people go through those rights with me, and they're when we actually go through, what does this mean? And then and they're like, what? That's what it means? I bet if I did that with my aunt and my father, like I did with other people, and I went to their Facebook permissions and terms and conditions, and we looked up every phrase in there and what it means they can do, my father would be horrified. They can steal my bank information. There's nothing. Nope. If somebody accidentally gives it away, no. Or they could take my information and sell it to other people. Yep. There's people online they're going to sell it to that will try to hack in and take my stuff. Yep. They can sell it to identity thefts. No. They can sell it to third party creditors or third parties, and then that third party can resell it to a thief. And that's just one example. There's so many examples, like if you use my debit card online or this Bitcoin and you lose your money, it is not refundable, or stuff like that is in the fine print and the terms with whatever. I'm not good at those. But I want to know if I'm being taken advantage of. If somebody is forced to tell me, you might as well, know how you're being taken advantage of so you can prepare. The amount of stuff that goes on my head amazes people when they find out. Because the way I talk sounds fast but slow at the same exact time. And that fast speaking, slow sounding. With that combination, people can't make heads or tails. But there was a point where I was above everybody before this mother started trafficking me around the country and before the overdose, and teachers were telling me to go to second grade. But my mother told the teachers, and I shouldn't say tell them, screamed at them, no, I want them to be older than the other kids. You need to hold them back. And the teacher says, no, Zach needs to go to second grade. And my mother continues calling, continues screaming. She probably even threatened to use the lawyers, which that my father would do whatever she wanted. She wanted to drug me and pill me up, my father would go along with it. Whatever she wanted was hers. Even if she wanted to hurt a child, my father would back her 100%. Even if she got caught for hurting a child, my father would back her 100%. Even if my mother admitted to hurting children by giving them extra medication that they're not prescribed, my father would be over by her side going, yep, it's okay to give children extra medication they're not prescribed. These are children that were orphans that came from other mothers that we adopted. Yeah, and they're not prescribed it and it's causing damage to their body. Yeah, that's fine. Full bottles of Epicac? Yeah, that's fine. Full bottle? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So, yeah. But if you ask my father or some of the family around my father, they'll tell you I'm just stupid. That's it. But if you ask the people who know me, they'll say, no, no, no. Zach was always the smartest kid in the orphanage. Oh my God, yeah, those fucking idiots. I was the smartest kid in New Mexico. All those kids, I used to watch them I was the only one with a little girlfriend, while other ones would fucking run around putting their hands in rattlesnake holes. I mean, of course, they're 9 getting abused on the mountains of New Mexico. In Texas, the teachers relied on me to go next door to my neighbor to help the teachers because they weren't smart enough to calm down other students, but I was. I could go over there and I could talk to them because I was closer to their age. But I also was smart enough to pass all my classes in Texas, but yet the teachers would continue putting things in front of me, and then I would refuse to do them if I was repeating like 100 times, or I would just say I can't do it. And then the teachers thought I was slow because my mother's calling in, calling them slow. So then I just sped through my work and just did it all. And so then the teacher started realizing, oh, he can do the work, he just doesn't like repeating the work. But just as soon as the teachers were realizing I'm speeding through my work now, because when I first moved up there, they're reevaluating me. Then I'm starting to learn everything I need, but they're making me redo everything for a year. The same, just addition and subtraction for 2 years. I did this a year before that too, before we moved to Texas. I can't do another year. It's 3 years of the same fucking math problems. I know how to do it. I've done 300 pages in a row. How much more do you need to prove that I know how to do addition and subtraction? Can't we move to that subtraction, and sorry, the division and multiplication that everybody else I see is doing over there? I mean, I came here already knowing addition and subtraction. But see, they kept on running me through to see what level I was at. There were just a whole big thing of a paperwork that just does an evaluation of what level your education is at. And part of it is to bombard you with hours of the same old shit. Well, once when the same old shit was done, I got bored of the same old shit. And it's hard to get a little 9-year-old or 8-year-old to do the same old shit for 3 years in a row. No other kid does the same years of classes 3 years in a row. No other kid does the same work. But see, I've now gone from Massachusetts being held back from a grade I already passed, redoing a grade there. Then in Texas, they're reevaluating me and having me do that same classes I was doing in Massachusetts. So I already know how to do this and I'm shown that. But now the evaluation is done, and now I need to complete the actual class. And a lot of it's the same, what I do complete. Now they see I can actually speed through it, and I actually am smart enough that I should be moving to division. But at this point, my mother moves me to New Mexico. In New Mexico, I have a teacher, but this teacher was only there for 3 months and has ages 8 to 13 she has to teach all at once. So each kid only gets an hour, and that's age group. And that doesn't work. So then they pulled all the kids in the classroom together, age 8 to 13. And she just does some projects. But that doesn't work. So she says that it's too much for her to come up the mountain. And she says, she's sorry, kids. I'm going to not be coming back. I'm so sorry, kids. I'm not going to be coming back. And then we also could overhear the staff member saying, oh, she's doing it for money. She's doing it for money. So now there's no teacher, and I go without education. 18 months straight, no education. Then, after that, my mother decides Maine is the best place for me. Maine. So she homeschools me. Then she's going to bring me to Mass, and I'm going to get reevaluated there and get dropped in a public school. That doesn't go so well. Actually, there was, before the public school, I think there is an elementary school, 2 of them. Because I know there's one elementary school when we first moved up here where I just played toys and played wiffle ball. But seeing as not much actually went down there, it didn't really seem like, I mean, this was right when we moved there, so 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds. This is whatever grade I was in at, about 11 or 12, something like that. And I literally just missed out on a whole nother year. Then I get dropped into a middle school, public, and I am not, I'm missing 4 years of education. I need to go back 4 years. But all the way up to about 3rd grade, I could have caught up and I would have been very, very good. But nobody actually put the material in front of me or taught me. They kept on reevaluating me and putting the same old shit year after year in front of me because nobody ever knew what level I was at thanks to my mother. My mother was purposely making me slow and disabled. She first drugged the shit out of me to disable my body, And then she wouldn't even let me go to fucking school. And if anybody argues like my father, ask him what school I went to in Maine. And it would be homeschooling if you look at the records from Maine. Then ask him what school I went to in New Mexico. And ask him what home I went to in New Mexico. And ask him the teacher's name in New Mexico that was there for the 18 months. And any answer he gives you for those three would be a lie. There is no school. There's only the program in New Mexico. The school is the program. They're all in one. And all it is a room with a bookshelf. That's it. It has a bookshelf. Yeah, the school is one bookshelf. There's no teacher, just a bookshelf. We're not even allowed to go in that room. The staff members have to get permission to bring us in just to grab books. And these are just Curious George books. These are not lesson plans or anybody sitting down and trying to actually teach grammar or anything. They just tell you to go sit down with a book. These people, these staff members are trained to babysit. They are not trained to teach. They never, ever got paid to teach. There was a separate person that was supposed to be getting paid to teach all these different age groups, but nobody was available. So I went without a teacher for 18 months, and then went without a teacher in Maine for another 6 months. And that's a 2-year period, but that's not even the beginning. My first grade, I perfectly completed, and I redid that one for no reason other than my mother had her own little idea of something. And she was lying to everybody, too, very obviously. Most of the family was picking this up. These were obvious, blatant lies. And how my father ate up these lies, like ate up her, she would just poop out lies like crazy that were obvious, and my father would just eat them up. She would throw out crazy statements, and my father would eat it up. My mother would say, no, no, my son needs to stay back because he needs to be older. Yes, 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 yes. And my father would eat it up. And my mother would say, it's okay to give children extra medications they're not prescribed. Yeah, that's fine. And he would just eat it up. She would say, it's okay to steal my son's Vicodin with still an active prescription just one time. And then my father would eat it right up. My mother would drag me into another room, hit me with a metal ruler in the face, cause a mark, scare the hell out of his grandson. The grandson goes home, everybody's uproared. Somebody comes up to my father, says, oh my God, my son's coming home saying your wife is acting crazy with Zach, hitting him. And then my father goes to his wife, and asks, are you hitting Zach with a ruler? Nah, I wouldn't do anything horrible. And he eats it all up. Then we go down to the doctors, and I'm talking about a horrible overdose at age 7 in Westford. And I'm just saying the symptoms. I lost my vision completely. I took some meds my mother gave me. It was a horrible, scary experience, and at the time I was just fucking horrified. Now I've talked about it so many times and got no answers that I'm horrified that nobody's fucking done anything. Not my father, not my mother, not the state. They've all just allowed more crippling to be done to try to cover it up. The more I talk about it, the more my mother would cripple me and traffic me around the country. When I got to Texas, I started talking about it in Texas again, and that's when my mother moved me to New Mexico. When I went down to Chelmsford and when I started talking about it, that's when my mother started whacking me and getting very, very extra crazy, is when I started telling the doctors about it again in front of her. But no matter how many doctors I told that this experience, none of them ever even suggested a neurologist or even looking into it. None of them even wanted me to speak about it. When I talked to psychiatrists, all they wanted to do was medicate me. How is that going to help with my seizures, falls, and using my body? How is that going to help my legs work, huh? Because I can take therapy for my mother abusing me and acting crazy all the time. I've already done that. Every single time my mother brought me to therapy, it was all about her. It was all my mother's looking at me in the mirror, my mother smacked me, my mother's acting crazy. How is she acting crazy? And it's so hard to explain. My mother was so crazy, you can't explain it. You can't think like her. The way my mother thought was, I'm going to get my way. I'm going to get my way. I have this idea and I'm going to get my way. I'm going to poison Zach with these pills to get my way. I'm going to slip him these pills on Halloween. He'll get sick in the bathroom. I'll come over, and then he can't go out, and I'll get my way. I'll take these pills. We'll get to Social Security. There's always some plan in her head to get her way. My mother isn't getting her way, and then she has to. Or, I'm less than a dog. She actually believed this. I'm not saying this. This isn't a belief I have. This is not any of a belief that I have. My mother thought I was less than a dog and made sure to tell me that I was less than a dog. And also, in front of the family, used to throw me off the couch onto the floor, tell me I'm less than a dog, call the dog up, then tell me to lay down after I'm already sitting on the floor, so I lay down. Then she says I'm not laying down flat enough, so then I lay down completely on my back. Then she says I'm still not laying flat enough, so then I have to put my head sideways and my feet sideways. Now every single part of my body is as flat as it possibly can be. The only way you can get flatter is if you flatten the bones, if you start crushing the bones in the powder. And my mother gets up off the couch, and the whole family goes, "Oh, stop whatever you're about to do! He can't get any flatter! Stop! Stop acting crazy, Patricia!" Because she was about to start trying to hop on me to get her way. She wanted me to be flat like paper, like dust. But bones don't go flat. See, I actually went from sitting up on the carpet while everybody watches the game to laying down on my back with my, everything flat, but my head looking at the ceiling and my feet, just regular, sticking upwards, I'm on my back. Then my mother says lay more flat or I'm going to get it. So I have to turn my feet sideways so they're completely flat, and I have to turn my head sideways like I'm trying to get under a flat railing or get under a door or something. We're wicked flat. As flat as the body can possibly go. And this body can't get any flatter. But my mom goes, "No, I mean paper flat." And then she's getting up off the chair to stomp on me. That's exactly what she's going to do, too. Because when she gets like this, the last thing she does is put her hands on me. That's the last thing she always does. And then it's over. It's not over until my mother swings. You ever heard it's not over till a fat lady sings?